Hello, how are you? Today, inshallah, we will start with lesson 18.3, the building the tree of life. Okay, so we will start with building tree of life. For my objectives today, I have to classify your organisms into 3 domains and to know how to build the tree of life. This is my objectives today. So let's start with the 3 domains. What we mean by 3 domains? DNA evidence proved that bacteria and archaea are very different, so scientists created domain. So domain are larger, more inclusive taxon than the kingdom. So again, you have to know that when we classify the organisms according to the presence of the nucleus, we classify the organisms into 2 categories. The first one is prokaryotes and the second one is eukaryotes. The prokaryotes lack a nucleus while the eukaryotes contain nucleus. And the prokaryotes contains the bacteria and archaea. And after the DNA evidence, they found that the bacteria and archaea are really different. So they found another way to differentiate between the bacteria, archaea, and eukaryotes in general, which is known here as the domain. So the bacteria is a domain, archaea domain, and the eukaryotes in general are a domain. Okay? And you have to know that the domain is larger than the kingdom because we classify the organisms, the animals, into or all the eukaryotes into the Animalia kingdom, okay? And you have to know there is 3 domains of life, which is bacteria, archaea, and eukarya. And bacteria, archaea related to the prokaryotic, while eukarya are classified according to the presence of the nucleus into eukaryotic, okay? Let's start with the archaea domain. You have to know that the members of the domain archaea are unicellular and prokaryotic. You have to know that all of the prokaryotics are known to be unicellular. So you have to classify it according to that point. So unicellular, prokaryotic. You have to know also that live in extreme environments. This archaea lives in extreme environments. What do you mean by extreme environments? Either high salty environments or high temperature environment like hot springs or high anaerobic environment. There is no presence of oxygen or the environment's lack of the optimal condition for living or organism living, okay? And at the same time, it's having different cell structures than domain of bacteria. There is many cell structures than the bacterial domain. And at the same time, it corresponds to the kingdom Archaeobacteria. So the archaea is classified in the kingdom Archaeobacteria, okay? While the bacterial domain, which is unicellular organism, prokaryotics again have a different cell structure than domain archaea and correspond to the kingdom Eubacteria. Again, bacterial domain, unicellular prokaryotes, and different structures and correspond to the kingdom is Eubacteria. While the eukarya domain, which consists of all the organisms that's eukaryotic, which is having a nucleus, like we have many kingdoms like Protista, fungi, planta, and Animalia, okay? So we have many kingdoms for the eukaryotic. Let's check the classifications of living things. So again, for the domain, bacteria, archaea, and eukarya, kingdom Eubacteria, Archaeobacteria, Protista, fungi, plants, and Animalia, okay? For the cell types, prokaryotics here for the bacteria and archaea, and all of the eukarya is eukaryotic cells. And for the cell structure, for the bacteria, in the last or previous lectures, we say that the bacteria cell walls with peptidoglycan, okay? While here in the archaea, cell walls without a peptidoglycan. If we compare it to the eukarya, Protista cell walls of cellulose, okay? Fungi cell walls of chitin. Planta, we have a cell wall of cellulose and chloroplast, and Animalia, there is no cell wall, okay? For the bacteria and archaea, it's a unicellular. For also Protista, most of it is unicellular, and we have some types of Protista as a multicellular. For the fungi, most of the fungi are multicellular except the yeast, which is unicellular. Plant and animalia also multicellular. Okay. Let's check the mode of nutrition here for the bacteria and archaea. They are either autotrophs or heterotrophs. Here we have for protista, fungi, protista in general, autotrophs or even heterotrophs like the archaea and bacteria, while all of the other don't contain autotrophs, just fungi, heterotrophs, eukarya, autotrophs, and animalia, heterotrophs. Let's check an examples on each domain. We have the bacteria, we have streptococcus or E. coli, مثلا Escherichia coli, archaea, methanogenous, halophiles. We have for protista, amoeba, fungi, mushrooms or yeast, planta, any types of plant, flowering plants, and animalia like worms and insects. Okay, so you have to know all of the information that is already found on this table because it's a classification table. Okay, so make sure you memorize all of the information here. Let's again check the modern key kingdoms. 6 kingdom systems of a classification, which is the Eubacteria, Archaebacteria, Protista, fungi, and Plantae, animalia. Key kingdom system during Linnaeus time, which is plant or animal, but right now we have 6 kingdoms. Okay. Let's check the evolution of the naming system. في 17s they were just Plantae and animalia. في late 80s Protista, Plantae, animalia. في 50s we have Monera, Protista, and we have fungi, Plantae, animalia. And in 90s we classify the kingdoms according to right now classification system. So again, we have 3 domains and 6 kingdoms. Draw a simple concept map that shows the 3 domains and kingdoms that are currently used in biological classification. So I want you to do this as a homework. Let's try to find or to draw a mind map. I need you to draw a simple concept map or mind map for the 3 domains and 6 kingdoms that's found right now or in the currently biological classification. Please make sure that you draw the 3 domains and kingdoms. Let's now start with the tree of all life. What do you mean by the tree of all life? The tree of life represents the current hypothesis regarding evolutionary relationships among the taxa within the 3 domains of life. So again, the tree of life represents the current hypothesis regarding evolutionary relationships among the taxa within the 3 domains of life. Modern evolutionary classification is working toward the goal of presenting all life on the single evolutionary tree. So again, modern evolutionary classification is working toward the goal of presenting all life on the single evolutionary tree. The tree of life displays current evolutionary relationships among the taxa within the 3 domains of life. As you can see here, this is the tree of life and the connecting between the domains of life. This is the eukarya domain, the archaea domain, and bacteria domain. Okay? This is how we connect all of the organisms in the same domain with the other organisms in the other domain, according to the evolutionary theory. As you can see here, this is the animalia. Here, this is the protestus. Here, the fungi, also this is protestus. And here, we have the plantae and archaea bacteria in the same time. Okay, this is how we build the tree of all life. And thank you. Have a nice day.